Alright, welcome to another Field of Glory 2 battle. This is round 2 out of 3 rounds of the Slitherine 20th Anniversary Tournament. This time we have the Dacians with Sarmatian allies versus Germanic foot tribes. I think this sort of matchup will be a little bit more to my liking than the last one. I don't love the whole phalanx, big line of dudes with spears style so much. Right, so Germanic foot tribes, my opponent's list for this match. There will be a mirror, of course. Gets a grand total of 2 units of non-light cavalry and 2 of light cavalry, and 5 units of skirmishers on foot. He has a good medium foot line of loose warbands, 7 units max, and a grand total of 4 units of super scary superior warband. The rest will be close order warband. For my own force, I have a little bit more flex, although not hugely more. Let's see, 6 units of infantry skirmishers as opposed to 5. For picked warbands, 3 as opposed to 4. Only 2 close order warbands, otherwise my warbands are loose order. I also have access to Falksmen, superior unprotected heavy weapon, light artillery. For cavalry, I can get 2 units of light cavalry, although 1 is the expensive nomad light horse archers. I can also get 2 units of noble cavalry, but if I want to, I can grab 5 units of armored noble lancers, which I probably will grab at least a few of them. Okay, so for one thing, we are grabbing the picked warbands without question. Very good. Next up, for rough work, loose order warbands. I could consider getting Falksmen, but they could collapse on impact. The appeal of them is that they are cheap, 48 points. I want a screen of lights, but not... I mean, I guess I might as well max them, but I'm not really that worried about it. Light javelin horse and nomad light horse archers for flank work. I might anchor on this forest and push this way, though. And if I'm going to anchor on the forest, then I think I can afford to use some Falksmen. Grab more armored noble lancers. And I might grab a couple for the center, too. Do I want the artillery? You know, normally I like taking light artillery, but with only 2 units of cavalry to shoot at, they're not particularly likely to disrupt warbands, even with the large unit targeting bonus, so I think no to that. $95 points, which is just barely enough that I cannot get 2 units of Falksmen, for example. Might drop one of the light javelins. I'm just not that worried about them. Get some more reserve warbands, just to have should things go badly. Okay, good. Now we can add 2 more generals. And we'll plunk them onto the picked warbands. So even with my general setup, you can very much see that I'm going for a hard left-wing attack and not so much aggression on the right. Alright, and there's our setup. Next turn, CS deployment. Alright, he will avoid the rough, so we will have to wheel to meet him. All his lights and cavalry will move to that wing. Very good. We'll gradually shift all of our lights to this wing to meet him. Okay, simple enough. We'll meet in the open. Next turn. Let's stretch out a bit. Very good. Have something of an undesirable gap opening up here. So we'll fill it in like so. As long as our skirmishers cancel one another out, that'll be just fine. So we'll stretch from more or less here to here, and then see if our cavalry can't do some damage. Onward. Next turn. We can commence skirmishing. Hopefully he continues to waste some time with this unit. Good. Next turn. Right. Drive off these skirmishers. Then we zone of control lock these 2 units. And then let's also lock in this unit here and see if we can't goad him into doing something reckless by harassing him. This is a bit reckless myself with this cavalry, but that's okay. Sometimes you gotta be a little bit bold. Good. Shift one of these Foxmen over to be here. The other can stretch the line a bit. We can use our light horse to start harassing his skirmishers, maybe his cavalry from behind. And in the meantime, once again, we'll use our lights to attempt to... Well, actually, I wonder... Oh yes, we can lock in his superior warband. That's very good. Alright, so we'll aim for attempting some kind of quasi-envelopment on the right flank, or punching through in the center with picked warbands against average warbands, and a delaying action with our cavalry on the left. So I fumbled the audio for this turn, so I'll just have to record talking over the muted turn. It'll be back next turn. So, wherever possible, I've got my Lancer's zone of control locking his more expensive warbands, so that they're basically useless, or worse, disrupted, because they lose all their POAs charging Lancers. I'm not going to say you should never charge Lancers with infantry. There are times I call for it, but it's something you should only do rarely. I mean, ideally, you want to put yourself in a position where your own cavalry can engage, or you have missile troops to take care of the Lancers before you charge. Yeah, General Dutt picked warband. It's not easily fragged, even by Lancers. So those lights evade because they could have gotten charged by non-lights if they stood. Now I have zone of control locked the close order warband with the loose order warband standing in the rough. I was quite lucky, only a 25% chance to win. Double drop you see pretty frequently with warbands. I mean, in particular the loose order warbands, but warbands in general. If things go wrong, they tend to go very wrong. I started wrapping my Falksmen around it. If they use their numbers to offer a flank threat, then they could actually be useful. Head on, it can be pretty tough for them. And here on the far flank, I have 3 units of Lancers, basically wasting the time of a picked warband, a regular warband, and 2 units of noble cavalry. So overall, my opponent has more points invested here than I do. So if I can just not lose, then that's a win in terms of points. We have a 1 POA advantage there. So I guess we might as well, right? So yeah, his army is starting to fall apart in the center there. So, hopefully we can get some sort of cascading effect soon. Next turn. This could actually be dangerous if he takes the risk and charges head on. If he passes, then we're locked in for at least 1 round of melee. Very good. They held firm though. Push them back, which means we can get a flank charge off. I think it's worth doing. No luck. Come on now. Perfect. Well, here's for impact, plus 50 POA of Lancers versus Light Spear Cavalry. It's not a huge advantage, honestly. Now we have armor advantage of 25. We're not going to charge because they'll just evade, but next turn we can charge from close up and then they will not evade. This unit will stay here, locking in these 2. Unfortunately, he might just charge with this warband and scatter or kill our lights, but it's okay. If this unit gets pushed back, then he can get a flank charge off, and if my unit breaks, it's a problem. If it doesn't, we can get a flank charge on him. Unless he blocks with a disrupted unit. Lots of mind games here. Maybe what I should have done is flank charge this unit, but I really wanted to deal with the superior warband. There's always next time. Alright, they're disrupted, so we're getting in there. Held firm. Get out of the way. Actually, no, don't get out of the way. Get in there. Oh, now that's more like it. This unit will keep locking in this close order warband, and will prevent this loose order warband from unlocking them by charging. Wish me luck. Good enough. Now we have 3 units to 2, but only one of our units is impact foot. So this could require some creative solutions. You've distracted a few units, now run away before you get broken. And that's it. Up 11, a good start. Next turn. That could... Too bad. The turning around didn't actually matter despite the animation. Right, keep them locked in and break them. Or just don't. That's good too. See them off. Good, and now we don't have a combat strength multiplier working against us. Good. I'm going to lock them in instead of charging. If we charge, we probably bounce off and free them up for the flank attack. We do not want that. That is good. See where that takes us. It's fine with me. Very good. Now this could get awkward. Yeah, this is unfortunate. By moving here, originally I was going to move my Falksman here and then turn this other unit to just threaten the flank. Now we're just going to have to go in. Still works out, although we're going to get hit by more javelins first. It's generaled up, so we're down 50 POA here. But we survive for now. Let's go in. Then hopefully next turn we can set up a flank attack of one kind or another on this unit. Okay, that's it. Next turn. Ooh. Alright, 1 for 1 there, that's fine. Hold Ugh, not pretty, but we held for a turn. That's all we need. Oh, that's unfortunate. Oh good, we can clip these light javelin horse as well. It's close order into the rough, so it should be no problem to roll them up. Right then. Held firm. Too bad. Oh. Right, lock them in, or at least make them very uncomfortable. Let's see what happens without getting the other unit involved. Nothing. Charge in then. Very good. Nice. Because they're superior and generaled up, even disrupted, they're on even terms with these average steady units. And that's all we have to do. Next turn. Well, it shouldn't matter. There we go. Well, pretty straightforward, I think. My opponent's best troops spent a lot of time locked in by lancers. That hurt a lot for the confrontation in the center. Along with that, I had more units to work with on this right flank, so I was able to start getting some flank attacks. This can happen with the Slitherine tournaments where, I'm generally a Division A player, but I played maybe less well than I usually do, or usually aspire to, we could say, for the first round. Traded for 1-for-1. I normally get 2 victories in the first round of these tournaments, so I went 1-for-1, and I ended up getting matched against another player who also went 1-for-1, but who is a little bit less experienced with the game. So now it's going to hand me some victories, and I'll get tossed in with other people who have had the same ratio of wins and losses in the first 2 rounds. This will keep me out of contention for the top spot because of how poorly I did at first, but I think I should make it in the top 20 or so. Yeah, I think otherwise pretty straightforward. I had probably a little bit of luck too with how the cohesion drops went, but still, the key is locking in good infantry with lancers. And, charging lancers with infantry is always a bad idea. Sometimes you have to do it, but it's always terrible. So, alright, so a good game to my opponent, and we'll see how the mirror goes.